when the early fathers of Christianity claimed power by abolishing goddess worship and other nature-based pagan religions. If we explore the etymology of the words whore or harlot, we find that the split between priestess and prostitute is a relatively recent one. The Hebrew word zona, for example, means both prostitute and prophetess. The Hebrew word hor, H-O-R, means a cave, pit, or dark hole. The Spanish word for whore, puta, derives from the Latin term for a well, but the Latin term for grave, literally, a hole in the earth, is puticuli, meaning womb of rebirth. These terms for whore were not derogatory. The Latin term had its root in the Vedic and early Sanskrit language, wherein the word puta is defined as pure and holy. The cave, the pit, the hole, and the bottomless black lake were metaphors for the great goddess, she who is unnameable, that darkness primordial from which all life or light is born. She is the everything and the nothing. The Hebrew folk dance named the Hora, a tradition at Jewish weddings, is named after the circle dances of the sacred harlots. Such holy harlots were often brides of God, similar to modern nuns, the brides of Christ, set apart to give birth to quote-unquote sons of God. The European idea of going into a womb-like space, pit, hole, lake, or river, in order to attain a new life of spirit stems from this Neolithic period. During this time, from about 15,000 BC to around 5,000 BC, the common belief system deemed the main deity was a goddess or female. In these early days, women were the mediators between the goddess and the tribe. Women were privy to divine wisdom, the Delphic oracles being one historic example of this, and it was thought necessary for a man to go through a woman in order to achieve contact with deity. Male devotees of the great goddess would seek the opportunity to be initiated by a sacred whore. In doing so, they attained knowledge of what some today refer in some esoteric circles as their true will, higher self, or holy guardian angel. In cuneiform, it is written, and I quote, "Sargon, the mighty king, king of Akkad am I. My mother was a sacred prostitute. My father I did not know. The role of the female deity Inanna of ancient Sumer, or Ishtar of Babylon, was performed by a high priestess. She was also known as the Virgin, who was worshipped by the title Queen of Heaven, and considered to be the goddess of love, war, fertility, and sexuality. In the Babylonian temples, Ishtar was looked to as the divine personification of the planet Venus. Ancient goddess cults worshipped the Virgin Queen of Heaven and were involved in sacred sex rituals as part of their religion. The goddess Inanna, or Ishtar, has been identified with the Phoenician goddess Astarte, the Semitic goddess Ashtaroth, the goddess Isis of Egypt, the goddess of Greece was Aphrodite, and Venus was the Roman goddess. These are different names for the same archetype used in different nations or different time periods, but are actually the same Babylonian goddess, Ishtar, extensions of the whore of Babylon, with striking parallels to even the Virgin Mary of the religious cult known as Catholicism. In Islam, Muhammad's daughter, Fatima, is called Queen of Heaven. It's interesting to note that some Catholic churches are named Our Lady of Fatima. Worship of the Virgin and the Queen of Heaven entered Christianity under Constantine, a sun worshipper, And Constantine gave the great Roman temples and shrines of their queens of heaven, the goddess Fortuna and Diana, to Rome's Christian church. He had these pagan temples Christianized by renaming them after Mary. Some Christian churches are called Notre Dame, a French word which means Our Lady. Notre Dame, or Our Lady, are applied to Fortuna, Diana, Madonna, Isis, Ishtar, Fatima, Mary, and many other goddesses. Goddess worship became Christianized, and Mary was given goddess status, with people offering her cakes at shrines to her, just like was done to Ishtar or Isis or Astaroth and the others that held the title Queen of Heaven. Mary has just taken the place of the goddesses the people were already worshiping. So she is called the Queen of Heaven, the Virgin, Madonna, and is literally looked to as a goddess.
They meet me and they speak with me. They're expecting Sasha. She can do things that I cannot do when I'm in rehearsal. I mean, I can try, but then it just doesn't happen. I can sing notes and sing strong and do all these things that when I'm just by myself, I can't do.